Hello, BookTube. I had errands to run first thing this morning, and I also needed a little pick-me-up. And what better way to pick up your spirits than by book shopping? I don't know that I know a better way that involves anything human, that is. 5 minutes in a dog park will do it just fine for me as well. But I was near the Brattle Bookshop, and even though I was there on Saturday, I was there on Saturday on a rare weekend visit because the previous Monday I had been there and my visit had not gone well. I mean, there were still lots and lots of books, there was still friendly staff, but it had not gone well. Elements of it bothered me. So I felt like I was really owed a trip, and that's why I went on Saturday. And Saturday's trip was wonderful, but I still felt like I wanted to reclaim Monday, if that makes any sense at all. It probably doesn't make any sense at all. And also, I don't usually need much of an excuse to go to the Brattle, so I went. And I browsed around outside in the sale lot, and I browsed around inside the shop. I found a bunch of stuff to mail to other people, and I found some books for myself, even though I was just there a day ago. So I thought I would show them to you, and maybe talk about them briefly. The first one is another Ace Double. These old little paperbacks where you read a 120-page novel, then you flip the book over, and there's another 120-page novel. And I got this specifically because I was just pleased by an Ace Double. I was just pleased by Wandle the Invader by Ray Cummings. And I was curious to know if maybe I would find other Ace Doubles with Ray Cummings short stories. And I found one. The Man Who Mastered Time. This was the only Ray Cummings thing that I found, and when you flip this over, you get Joseph Kelliam, Overlords from Space, where this guy is getting a lightning bolt ray in the back there, and he doesn't look happy about it. He's got a mohawk. So I found another Ray Cumming, and that may go on the pile for tonight. But the thing about Ace Doubles is that it's really hard to stop at just getting one. They are all so cool. And a lot of the Ace Doubles that I have read recently, like in the last 2 years, have held up fairly well to reading. Physically, just held up really well. So I got more Ace Doubles. Now this thing, The Man Who Mastered Time, is actually perfectly aligned with the first week of Rocket Summer. Because this is 1929 that Ray Cummings wrote this. The Overlords from Space is probably a lot later than that. No, it's also 1929. No, it isn't. It's 1956. So I have a feeling that I'm going to skip the 40s completely for these things. I have a feeling it's going to be either the late 50s or almost entirely the 60s. But the next one that I got is, I think, thematically included. A lot of times when it comes to Ace Doubles, I don't really like it when both authors on both sides of the book are the same. I kind of like the switch up. I like the variety. This one does have variety because the first one is an anthology. The first little 120-page thing is an anthology, Men on the Moon, edited by Donald Walheim, with all sorts of preliminary. This was done when? 1958, and the stories in here are from 49, 53, 51, 52, and 51. So before you would have known for sure what you were talking about with Men on the Moon. And this is an anthology of stories. It's not just a novel by that name. What do we have here? We have Raymond Gallum, Operation Pumice. We have A. Bertram Chandler, Jetsam. We have Frank M. Robinson with The Reluctant Heroes. We have H.B. Fife, Moonwalk. And we have Murray Leinster, The Keyhole. But then on the other side is City on the Moon, which is by Murray Leinster. And I think it's just one novel. From 1957. About a moon colony. So I'm going to have lunar colonies here. These are both dedicated to the science fiction extrapolations of what would happen if man lived on Earth's moon. Earth has an enormous moon in a very stable orbit around it, and it's a natural place to think where humans will have domed cities or whatnot. It's unlikely in the extreme that the cities, that if we ever did colonize the moon, there would be domed cities. I think it's far more likely that they'd just be underground. But I got that, and then I kept going with the ace doubles. I got John Brunner's book, The World Swappers. In with the old world, out with the new, and you flip it over, and you have A.E. Van Vogt, The Siege of the Unseen. I might have this one already. These covers are just fantastic. So they may have attracted me already, but I tried to restrict myself this time around to ace doubles that were in good enough shape to start with. They're pretty tough little books, but I didn't want to get any that were just already falling apart. Then this next one, I have Empire of the Atom by A.E. Van Vogt. And then when you flip this over, you get Frank Belknap Long, Space Station #1. A lot of these things, I don't think I got anything that I've already read. Maybe this next one. This next one is an ace double where both sides are the same author, Poul Anderson. The first one is War of the Wingmen. And then when you flip it over, you get The Snows of Ganymede. And I think I've read The Snows of Ganymede. I could be wrong about that. I'm gonna dig right into it and see. But how's that for a cover? I really couldn't pass it up. And then the final ace double for this time around. I found Andrew North, Sargasso of Space. Am I right in guessing that Andrew North is Andre Norton? Would I be right in guessing that? In a way, I'm kind of hoping that I'm not right in that, because Andre Norton has never done anything for me at all. Andre Norton is all over these ace doubles, so it could be. And then when you flip it over, you get an author that I definitely know has never done anything for me, but I have never read this book, as far as I know. This is from 1956. And I don't know that I've ever read it. It's The Cosmic Puppets by Philip K. Dick. I've read a lot of Philip K. Dick, but I don't know. This one isn't ringing a bell. So maybe once his contract was done with Ace Doubles, he reclaimed the rights to this novella and retitled it, and maybe expanded it. Maybe I've read it under a different name. But it doesn't matter. These Ace Doubles are just so much fun. They are just so much fun that I couldn't resist. And then some full-size books after those. Not many. The pile's not nearly as big this time around. Last time, on Saturday, I encountered a very rich vein of books on the same subject, on the Shakespeare authorship controversy. And that doubled what would otherwise have been a normal book haul. That didn't happen this time around. I did find a vein of things, but I did get them, but I had the shop pack them up, so they're not for me. But this next one is one that I've had a few times. I always enjoy it, and then get rid of it to some enthusiast, and then miss it. It's by Nigel Calder, and it's called The Comet is Coming. It's about Halley's Comet. It's probable appearances in the past. There's the Bayeux Tapestry on the cover there. It's discovery and categorization by Edmund Halley, and all the way up to what for this book would be the present day. This book came out in the 70s, I believe, 1980. This came out in 1980, and 6 years after this book came out, Halley's Comet came close to Earth, as it periodically does. It is a very regular comet. So that all eyes were turned to the sky, so that with the right location and a handheld telescope, you could see this amazing visitor. I didn't ever really do that myself. I was not really in a position to do that myself in 1986, but I saw and read all sorts of accounts of it. And I wish that I had tried harder to see it in 1986, because I won't be here in 2061 when Halley's Comet returns. I won't be here. A lot of you will be. So, keep watching the skis. Then I found a book by Jack Kelly. This is from recently, comparatively recently. This is from 2021. And it's a perfect example of what I talk about at the Brattle all the time, where the shop gives me a second chance at something. You've seen on this channel that I get book mail So a book, I will get an advanced copy. Sometimes I'll get a digital advanced copy. Then I'll get the print advanced copy. Then I'll get a finished copy. And we will talk about it. We will open the mail. I will read it, always. I will maybe write about it or pitch it around somewhere. And then usually what happens is that I get rid of the book. All of them. Usually that's what happens. Otherwise, after all this time, all the books that you've seen come here to Hyde Cottage, I would be up to my eyeballs in them. And when you have a process like that in place, it's natural that occasionally you're going to regret getting rid of something. And those can be big regrets. There are some big regrets that I have, things that I will absolutely never see used and that are now astronomically valuable. But there are also little regrets. And this Jack Kelly book is a little regret. This is his book, Valcour. It's called The 1776 Campaign That Saved the Cause of Liberty. That isn't true. No campaign that involved Benedict Arnold saved the cause of liberty. But it was an interesting campaign. It was, by all accounts, an American loss. It took place on Lake Champlain and in a specific little inlet of Lake Champlain. But although it was a loss, a retreat, a disaster, it was notable for the British commanders who were there on the other side, a lot of whom went on to just gigantic careers. Admiral Pellew was at Valcour. A lot of them went on to those careers, but they all noticed that what was supposed to be just a casual sweep wasn't. They struck ground, as one sailor said. That this was. Keep in mind, this was at the very earliest stages of the American Rebellion, and suddenly it was, okay, not only are these Americans tougher than we thought, and not only are they more ingenious than we thought, but they're also slyer than we thought. The Americans managed to slip past the British, who weren't exactly novices at naval blockades, naval watch. Valcour is interesting. It isn't pivotal in any way. It isn't at all what the subtitle of the book describes. But I really did enjoy this book. I could swear that I wrote about it somewhere. But I really enjoyed it. And it was gone. Occasionally, when I've been reading American Revolution books, especially naval histories of the American Revolution, Valcour Bay has come up. And I've thought in the years since 2021, I've thought, gee, I wish I still had that. And there it was. So then this next one is something that I have actually seen in gift shops, but I've never owned it. I've never actually read it. This is by Claude Berube and John Rodgard, and it is called A Call to the Sea. It's a biography of Captain Charles Stewart, who was forever and ever, for a long time, the captain of the USS Constitution. He was an amazing fighting captain and also a moral bolt of lightning, a moral force. He retained, as one friend said in correspondence, he retained his ability to be outraged when many less worthy men were losing theirs, and the reason they were less worthy is because they were losing their ability to be outraged, morally outraged. He was also one heck of a fighting captain, and I didn't know that I don't know that he's ever going to get another biography. I think he had one before this. I think there was a short-lived series of naval biographies, American naval biographies, from 100 years before this book came out. This came out in the late 90s, no, 2005. But I have I don't know, about a shelf of naval biographies, captains, admirals, commodores, that sort of thing. I was happy to have this, especially since I know one of his ships really, really well. Then this next one is a tangential thing. I heard a reference to it in reference to Private Eye July, a BookTube event celebrating Private Eye fiction, where this name came up. And it's true, the main character is sometimes a private eye, sometimes works for the police, sometimes not. And these books are wonderful. And I wasn't, when I saw this, I wasn't quite sure that I had ebooks. It turns out I do. But this is Philip Kerr. These are his Bernie Gunter novels. And this is Prague Fatale. And it's a fantastic story where Bernie Gunter does not like the Nazis. He has to work with them. He's a sot and a weak man in a lot of important ways. He's really good at solving crimes. He's really good at ferreting out murder. But he's doesn't have the moral courage either to stand up to the Nazis and get a bullet in the brain or to leave the country. So he has to work with them. And in this book, he's dealing with Heydrich, the Uber Nazi, and a man that he both fears and hates, and who quickly learns to fear and hate him. The whole. I mean, the setting of the Bernie Gunter novels shifts over time. Quite a bit of time passes for Bernie Gunter in the course of all of these things, but the shadow play of moral relativism. I'm not a big fan of moral relativism, but they're just perfect here. I mean, a homicide detective in Nazi Germany, that a country that is itself manifestly lawless. Just incredible. And Philip Kerr does such a great job with these. Just such a great job. And it turns out I do have ebooks, but it's nice to have the physical book. I wouldn't mind finding the one. I mean, these are really good atmospheric books. I think I wrote about Prague Fatale as well. But the one that I would really like in a physical copy is Prussian Blue. Prague Fatale is really good, but I think Prussian Blue might be my favorite Bernie Gunter novel. But it'll turn up. The Brattle will provide. Then this next one, recently at the Brattle, I found Foucault's Pendulum by Umberto Eco. Big, fat hardcover. And like the Philip Kerr, I found it despite the fact that I have it as an ebook. Because some books, you just kind of want to physically live with them. I don't say that about many books. I get lots of books at the Brattle, but I end up reading them on ebooks. And this next one I have as an ebook, and it's an old, gigantic bestseller. It needs no introduction on BookTube. And it also is Umberto Eco. I found a hardcover of The Name of the Rose, which was his introduction to the Western world. Obviously, it was this amazing runaway bestseller book about a medieval monastery and a crime that's been committed there, and another crime that's committed, and a crime after that that's committed, and an investigating monk, a monk who is there to investigate the murders and who bears a not trivial relationship or resemblance to Sherlock Holmes. I love this book, and I fell in love with it through, this is William Weaver translation? Yes, yeah. I fell in love with it through the famous mass market paperback here in America. Umberto Eco had a hit with this book all over the world, but the mass market paperback of Name of the Rose, which didn't, it had a medieval background, but it had an illustration of the investigator involved. He's on the front cover. He's not on this at all. This is just a boring hardcover. But that mass market paperback of Name of the Rose, some of you will know the image of what I'm talking about. It sold like crazy. It made Umberto Eco an independently wealthy man. That mass market paperback did. The deal that he got, plus the back end of the increases because of sales. And the sales were astronomical. Not just because the book is really good. The book is really, really good. It has a description of a stone carved archway of a doorway. That description is about, a little bit blurry, but probably about 30 pages into the book, and it goes on for about 300 pages. And if you can get through that, I firmly believe that the description of that carved doorway was put in there intentionally by Umberto Eco to weed out the tourists. I firmly believe that he put it in there to try your patience and get you to stop reading, so that he would know that after that scene, he had the people who were committed. I think that Thomas Pynchon does the exact same thing in a rather notorious scene in Gravity's Rainbow. I could be wrong. Could be a conspiracy theory, but I can't. Umberto Eco is a pretty talented writer. I can't believe he would leave that passage in there. I can't believe he wouldn't see what it was, how deadly it was. And he left it in there anyway. There had to be a reason for that. But once you get past that, it's a very entertaining book. And it keeps twists and turns all the way to the end. And that mass market paperback hit at the time when mass market paperbacks were reasonably priced. They were literally everywhere. You didn't have to go to a bookstore to get them. And they were established. It wasn't that anybody was having a panic anymore about mass markets. And so it sold like no one's ever heard of before. Just no one's ever heard of. And I don't think I saw this, and I want the hardcover because it's that mass market paperback, much as I love it, it would not really hold up to a read, I doubt. But I saw this at the Brattle for $1, and I thought, you don't even have that mass market anymore. At times, I've had 4 copies of it. I don't have any of it now, and I never see it, which is kind of amazing, because there must be 50 million copies of it in print. I never see that mass market paperback, but I wanted the hardcover anyway, so I grabbed it, especially since having that Foucault's Pendulum just sitting there staring at me makes me think maybe about rereading a lot of Umberto Eco. I wouldn't have the sheer cojones to even suggest that if Jason Harrigan, our Umberto Eco specialist, was still on BookTube, but he's not. I wouldn't make videos about it, but I sincerely think that I might reread him quite a bit. And then we have Matthew Bunson. This is the last thing. This is an oversized trade paperback. This is a dictionary of the Roman Empire, which has just 2 columns, alphabetical, charts whenever they're needed of holidays or currency or the cursus honorum or the ranks in the army. And then, other than that, everything else. So, what is a lanista? What is a ballista? what is a centurion? What is an augur? You can just go through this book. It's unlikely that there's going to be much in here that I'm not going to know, but I like reference works like this. I like consulting them when I am writing about ancient Rome, and I'm going to have occasion to do quite a bit of that in 2025. So I figured, why not for $1? Why not grab it and have it here? I think its only defect is it has almost no pictures, but that's all right. A pictorial dictionary of the Roman Empire will turn up at the Brattle. There have been like 200 of them in the last 200 years. If I want one will turn up. There was a pictorial hardcover at the shop this morning of Roman Britain, which is a time period of the Roman Empire and a theater of the Roman Empire that I really like. I didn't get it because there are millions of them. I just didn't bother. But this will be fine. This will be fine to start me off. So there you go. That was a little Brattle trip to pick up my spirits. It was very warm this morning, very pleasantly warm, and got warmer as the day went on. It's, as you can tell from my limp little bean on her seat there, it's pretty warm. The sky is all moody and bruised. There's the threat of rain all for the rest of the day, and then my weather apps look like some sort of practical joke. It looks like there's a strong chance of rain every day for the next week and a half, something like that. We'll see if any of that happens. But I figured with all of that rain in my weather forecast, probably I should go back to the Brattle and also reclaim Mondays, which I did. So now I'm all set. I doubt I will be going back to the Brattle this year. So there we go. We have a dictionary of the Roman Empire. We have Name of the Rose. We have Prague Fatale by Philip Kerr. We have A Call to the Sea about Captain Stewart. We have Valcor about a very interesting little footnote. You go to a big 1-volume history of the American Revolution, and it'll barely get mentioned. It may be for its connection with Benedict Arnold, but otherwise barely at all. Then the Comet is coming. The Comet is coming. Halley's Comet will be here, but a long time from now. And then these ace doubles. So we have the Cosmic Puppets and Sargasso of Space, that worried-looking guy. We have the Snows of Ganymede and the War of the Wingmen, both Paul Anderson. We have Space Station Number 1 and Empire of the Atom. We have Siege of the Unseen and the World Swappers. We have City on the Moon and also an anthology of Men on the Moon. And finally, we have Overlords from Space and another Ray Cummings story, The Man Who Mastered Time. So I got a bunch of old cheesy science fiction to last me through the rest of Rocket Summer. So there you go, a Brattle book haul on a nice sultry Monday. So I'll wrap this up for now, and I'll be back. Thank you, BookTube.